Well, Microsoft really outdid themselves this year. Compared to the past couple E3s they had, this is by far the most solid presentation. My score for them is a well-deserved 5 out of 7. It was small talk in all games, which is what I'm watching for. Also, apologies, but I'm going to be glossing over some of the smaller games. They'll be mentioned but not largely discussed. So now, let's get on with the recap. They began with Halo Infinite. We got some rendered footage of how the game will look and had a short glimpse of possible vehicle gameplay. Very little is known about this game, but hey, it's Halo, it'll sell well. Next was Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and it looks just as dazzling as the first game. A lot of it was gameplay footage with some cutscenes thrown in to set the mood for the plot. I'm really anticipating this game as I love the first. They showed just enough to get me excited, so I'd say it was a good trailer. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is From Software's next game. The gameplay looked very Bloodborne with attacks having realistic weight to them, and they had a plethora of enemies that could beat the crap out of you. Most notable though is a new grapple hook mechanic which looks like it can be used for maneuvering terrain and mounting enemies during combat. I think it could expand the combat more than what was presented, so I'm eager to find out more. And then Fallout 76. It was speculated to be something different than the open world games we're used to, but during the presentation it was said to have a world 4 times larger than Fallout 4. A good bit of gameplay was shown, but more of it was cinematics. It is also a prequel to all the Fallout games and features the old Fallout armor. I'm more surprised that Bethesda didn't wait to announce it during their presentation, but perhaps they will demo it to gauge interest. Afterwards was Life is Strange Captain Spirit. Yeah, it has a familiar style and narrative that is set within the Life is Strange universe, but the main character is a young boy named Chris. Haven't been invested in these kinds of games, but even so it looks fine. So Crackdown 3 had some more gameplay shown. Wasn't too impressed though because we've known about this game for a while now and not too much else happened. Looks fun, but it's a reoccurring announcement. And Nier Automata is getting ported to Xbox One. Yep, that's all you need to know. Now this one we had heard about before, but a lot of new features arose about it. The Metro Exodus trailer showed a bunch of plot stuff, but also showed an equal amount of gameplay. It seems there may be a weapon customization system, which would be a fresh feature. Also, this game looked really good graphics-wise. This is a game I'm quite interested in, but evidently it's not an Xbox One exclusive. Now, here's my most anticipated game of next year. Kingdom Hearts 3. They showed a lot of character interactions in this trailer, some of the summons we can expect to see, and revealed Frozen as a featured world. Also, apparently Aqua became evil, which was pretty shocking to see. My history with the series is the reason I'm so invested with the game, and quite frankly I was surprised to see it be highlighted by Microsoft rather than Sony. Next was Sea of Thieves. Nothing too huge, but 2 new expansions for the game were announced for this year. I'm glad that Rare doesn't intend to drop the game and wants to improve upon a game that's, in my opinion, kind of bare bones. Battlefield 5 story stuff was shown, though we saw all of this yesterday during EA's conference. Not that interesting. Then Forza Horizon 4 was announced, and I have to say it caught my attention. The game takes place in Britain, but the biggest feature are the seasonal changes. The dynamic weather and seasons were really interesting to see in action and impressed me. They also gave us a glimpse of some multiplayer missions and provided live demonstrations of the game. They handled this reveal very well, and I have to give them credit where it's due. Then they talked a little bit about the initiative and how they're adding new companies to their Microsoft Studios branch. Cool, but didn't impact me at all. We Happy Few then got a trailer that provided the main premise and some gameplay. Not much else to say, especially because this game was announced last year. Then PUBG. Looks like it may be getting a new map, but otherwise it was next to useless. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition was revealed and showed a good bit of story and gameplay bits. Very anime as the Tales games are known for. Next, a lot of The Division 2 was shown. At first I was worried because we only got a trailer and I thought they were going to skip out on gameplay. But they gave us some, and of course those really cringy actors that try to act like gamers. The gameplay itself looks fine, but it was very scripted. What I mean is there was very little deviation in the path that the person took. It was almost like a conveyor belt just led the character to where they needed to go. Other than that, it looked fine. Then they talked about the Game Pass a bit and let us know that most of the new games would be added to the library as they are released. Yet another video game streaming service that lets you play 100 games for a monthly fee. Also, I had something called Fast Start, which will let you load your games faster. I don't know this for certain, but that's what I gathered. All neat, but nothing of importance. Then there was a short indie showcase. Great selection, but nothing stood out to me that would be exclusive. Next was Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and honestly, there was much less shown than I thought there would be. They had a trailer that mainly focused on the story and featured some gameplay combat we can expect. Perhaps Square Enix will talk about it more during their conference. Session was a skateboarding game that everyone mistook for Skate 4, even though it was clearly stated that it wasn't developed by EA. Gameplay was cool, but much of it was cinematic opposed to direct footage. Looks okay, but nothing special. Now, this was kind of a funny reveal. During this game, me nor my friends knew what it was, only that it looked like an action MMO. As a joke, I said it's obviously Black Desert Online. Sure enough, that's what it was. So if that footage was the game running on Xbox One, I have to say it looks great. But other than that, it's Black Desert Online, nothing new or exclusive. Then one of the big surprises, Devil May Cry 5. This game looks absolutely stunning. There's something about the lighting of DMC that's always drawn me to it. The trailer they showed focused more on story and cutscenes, but there was still a palpable amount of gameplay. Nero is the protagonist of this game, but it doesn't look like Dante has taken a backseat role because he was confirmed for the game and is assumed to be a playable character. I'm pretty excited for this game, but once again, it doesn't happen to be an Xbox One exclusive. Then, simply out of nowhere, Cuphead DLC titled The Delicious Last Course. The only thing shown was a new character, though a new island and other features were confirmed. Has me excited, but I wish more was able to be shown. Tunic was a game about a cute little fox boy going on a grand adventure. Looks very colorful and pretty. Combat seems to be a simple hack and slash, but it looks great. A smaller game, but still holds some promise. The most ambitious crossover since Avengers Infinity War, Jump Force was revealed. If I had to guess, this is a new J-Stars Victory type game, as the look and combat seems to be similar to the games before. That being said, the graphics were extremely detailed. Oh, and Frieza got massacred, so that was a highlight. Also still not an Xbox One exclusive. Afterwards was Dying Light 2. They got to show a lot of it and explained many of the different routes that can be taken. The player can either decide to cause anarchy or support, and in general it sounds pretty engaging. Only a little bit of combat gameplay was shown and the rest had to relate to the world and story. Now we're getting to the good stuff. Battletoads are back, baby! This came out of nowhere, especially because our last period of relevance was Killer Instinct. Nothing more than an announcement, but it still got me really excited. It shouldn't have, but it still did. I am weak. Then Just Cause 4 was shown. I have to be honest, I'm starting to get tired of seeing this game series because every trailer looks the exact same. This may be ignorant to say because I've never taken the time to play a game in series, but it still feels like my point stands. Had an okay bit of gameplay, but nothing impressive. And the award to the biggest debated goes to Pop because of a Gears Pop game for mobile. Totally thought it would be a new game, but I got played like a fiddle. Along with this, a tactical Gears game was announced. Tactics had a bit of gameplay showed for it, but Pop didn't. Then they finally gave the people what they wanted, a trailer for Gears 5. It was mostly cinematics and a story, but it still featured a fair amount of gameplay. I don't really know much about the Gears games because I've owned very few Xbox consoles, but it still looks impressive graphically and gameplay wise. So as Phil is closing their presentation, the whole place glitches out and Cyberpunk 2077 was announced. Honestly know nothing about these games, but the world looks really intriguing. This is also one of their exclusives. Unfortunately, very little gameplay was shown and it was mostly cinematic footage to set the tone. Still a really fun way to announce a game and a fitting way to end the conference. And that was it for Microsoft. While they had a lot of big announcements, I can't give them a perfect score because many of the games were not exclusive. Nevertheless, this was the best Microsoft E3 in a while, and I hope they continue to satisfy their fans while also attempting to gain new fans. Can't say I intend to buy an Xbone for myself, but I'd be lying if I said some of their exclusives don't look interesting. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment on what you thought of the presentation. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe if you'd like to see more. See y'all next time. Bye bye!